So there you have it. We flip it to the left and the left flasher comes on. We flip it to the right and there's the right. Easy peasy. Welcome back to Bad Attitude C10. Today we're going to bench test our module that we picked up from Haywire that'll operate our turn signals, hazard, and brake setup. Now the setup comes with everything you need to wire it in as far as the module itself being self-contained, excluding a power wire for the turn signal switch. Now they gave me a three-way switch which was momentary, which I'm not going to use, so I'm going to throw it back in the bag and put it under the table before we get started. So again, this kit pretty much comes with everything, and it even actually has the plug that would plug into your steering harness. Now I do not have a factory steering wheel, so my wiring kit that I bought from Haywire includes the other side of this. So in addition to the fuse panel or relay board, whatever you want to call it, which is terminal studded, and you have nuts that lock down everything, so I like this a lot better than a factory style setup. The only thing that I had to remove on it were the flashers, because I'm using LED lights, so a conventional flasher for the turn signals and hazards would not work. So we went on ahead and put some electronic LED flashers in it. They're just 2 prongs, just like what came with it from Haywire, or what's generally in most fuse boxes from the factory. So these guys just plug right in, and it's pretty much a quick upgrade and nothing to it. Now again, all this stuff from Haywire I purchased. It is not sponsored. I'm just explaining it to you guys because everything's pretty much labeled and it's there and it's easy. They can walk you through, and their customer service is great. The 3-position switch that I'm going to use for my turn signal is this one. Actually is a stationary. You flip it and it stays. So it's not a momentary switch. It'll hold wherever you put it. So same thing with the hazard. It's just a 2-position switch, so it's either on or off. So you got 2 wires to it, and when you flip it, it's on. You turn it the other way, it's off. Easy. It can't get any more simple, guys. So again, check Haywire out. They got great customer service, great products, and the stuff is USA made. So guys, we're about to cover a lot of stuff, but don't let it spook you, scare you, or whatever you want to say. There's a lot to take in, but just take your time. So again, this is part number TS 1956 from Haywire. It's pretty trick, and I like it a lot. Now, when it comes to the module and the wiring, one section of the wiring that has this little 4 connector, and you see the wires that I've already put female ends on, that's going to go to our switches. This other is actually going to be the connector that would normally go to your factory steering column. Now, lucky for me, the Haywire fuse panel that I bought has the other side of this connector, but we're going to go ahead and have to put the wires into it. The wires that came in the kit actually slide inside of this female connector that I'm plugging up right now to show you, and the wires are all labeled, and they already have the pins on them that fit this connector. Now, I don't know what's going on with my camera. It got fuzzy on me again, so you can't see all the writing on this wiring, but every wire in this kit basically states where the wire goes or where it came from. So it's pretty much idiot proof. And guys, USA made, labeled wires, everything, it's just simple. So make sure that your connector, the lettering on them, like the P was for the white, and so on and so on, just match them up, do 1 wire at a time, take your time, make sure that they're locked in when you do them, and it'll be fine, guys. Nothing to it, I promise you. As you can see here, guys, I had a moment where I couldn't tell if the wire was brown or black. So instead of going by judging what color it was, I went on ahead and read what the wire was labeled to double check to be certain I put the right wire in the right slot. And, again, just take your time, and just like me, you'll get it done. Now on the dark blue and the light blue wiring that goes to your front park lights, turn signal lights, whatever you want to call them, you'll notice that they're doubled up. The reason they're doubled up is you'll have one that's going to go through your harness and end up at the light itself. and the other ones will go to your indicator light in your instrument panel. So that's kind of a cool feature too, because you don't have to tap into it or, you know, butt splice into it or anything like that. It's already there. So after double checking and making sure all the wires are in tight, just fold your connector over and clamp it down. Now, please excuse my turn signal lights. Lenses are kind of faded and stuff. The ones I ordered didn't make it in yet, along with the gaskets. But here you can see I've replaced the 1157 bulbs with LEDs. Now, what we're going to have to do is I'm going to have to ground the brackets on these lights. So I'm going to put a jumper on them and go from stud to stud. That way we have a ground source to the lights themselves. And here in a minute, we'll actually fasten that to the battery as well. Once that was done, I got the dark blue and light blue wires to plug into the lights. Now, the dark blue one is going to go to the right light, and the light blue is going to go to the left light. Up next, we're going to have to do the brown and the purple wire for our flasher power and our hazard lights. So on our fuse block, you'll see the two terminals are marked, and all we do is hook these wires up, and they're actually power sources that are going to go into our module. So after double checking everything, all that's left on that side is going to be the power wires, which we'll take care of later. So right now we're going to address the switch harness. So up first, we're going to use both of the brown wires that are marked hazard and connect them to the 2-position switch. And then we're going to get the 3-position switch, and as you see, this is the pink ignition wire that I told you was not included in the kit. So we're going to take it, and one side is going to go to the middle of the 3-position switch, and the other is going to go to the accessory lug or post on our fuse panel. By utilizing this pink ignition wire, that means the switch is only going to be hot when the key switch is turned on. Up next will be the green and yellow wires. So they will actually be attached. The green one will clip onto the right, and the yellow will basically clip onto the left. So again, it's straightforward and very simple, guys. This brings us to the last 2 wires on our module, which is going to be the red battery power and the black ground. So I'm going to start by hooking the ground up, and when I do the ground, I'm going to go ahead and jump her over to the park lights too, and then plug the ground in, and that completes all our ground circuitry that we need to do. So then I'm going to go straight to the battery power and plug it directly into the red wire that goes to the module. So now that's done, we do have to have power to our fuse block. So on our fuse block, we're going to have one post that's marked BAT for battery power. The other is going to be marked ignition. So the ignition is going to be key switch power. When you turn it on, it's going to come, and that's going to power up the stuff in the fuse block that only will come on when the ignition or key switch is turned on. So here we go, it's powered up, and I'm first going to grab this hazard switch, and as you can tell, it's off, so we're going to flip it, and we have hazards. So now the 3-position switch will pick up, and everything's here, and as you notice, flip it to the left, we have a left indicator light on. We flip it to the right, and there's the right indicator light. Now guys, there's one other thing that I want to explain to y'all, and that is I was going to hook the tail lights up too and show y'all that, but I bought brand new tail lights and everything, and the pigtails that are on them, they only go on one way, and they feel kind of snug, but every time you put a bulb in them, they pop out. So I started playing around with them, and the little plastic latches that catch this rib, dude, they're just junk. And I mean, these were bought from a reputable company. I'm not going to bash them. I'm just going to say that they're basically getting some shit parts. Now, I just had an idea, guys. I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the rear tail light wires and go ahead and strip them back and put some female connectors on them to where I can go ahead and plug them to my front turn signal lamp so you can see them. Now, remind you, once these are hooked up, and I'm going to go ahead and strip the white wire that would come for our brake switch. So since there's not a switch, it's just going to hook directly to the power source off of the fuse block. and it should make the lights come on like utilizing brakes. But remind you, when it's hooked up the right way, the brake lights will never make the front lights come on. I'm just doing this to show y'all that the brake feature is going to work with these turn signals. So make believe these front lights are actually my rear lights that I can't show you because they don't work. So as you can see, with the brake lights on, the flashers do work. So one more thing, just in case you wondered what would happen if we tried using these LED bulbs with a conventional flasher, I'll go ahead and change both the flashers out that's on the hazard and the turn signals and let you see what happens when we flip the switch. It's basically a mechanical flasher, and the LED lights do not draw enough current to get it hot enough to function properly. So since it draws such a small amount of current, the lights come on and they just stay on. So this is a hazard switch turned on, and both lights are just on like you're turning on a set of park lights, you know, or brake lights, whichever way you want to say it. It's going to be the same thing on the turn signal. If we turn it to the left one's going to come on, and that's all it's going to do. Go to the right, come on, and that's all it's going to do again. And again, this is because they do not draw enough current to get the flasher hot to function properly. So I'm going to put the regular LED flasher back in. That way you can see there's no smoke and mirrors, and I didn't pull any wool over anybody's eyes. So here we go, hazards functioning perfectly again. And we'll pick up the toggle switch, and there's our left flasher, and here comes our right flasher. So again, guys, until next time, I hope this pretty much laid it out for y'all and y'all enjoyed it.